Hey guys, this is Charlie subbing in for TheTopher, wrapping up our day driving some vehicles from the Volvo Heritage fleet. And now we're ending in this, the V60 T6 Polestar. This is a car that I've been curious about for a long time. We actually owned a 2013 S60 T6. That was a great little family car. My brother Nathan drove it quite a bit. And I've always been curious, what is this like tuned all the way up to 11? In the hands of the Polestar team. Not to mention, I've always thought this blue is one of the most beautiful cars ever painted on, one of the most beautiful colors ever painted on a car. So today we have the opportunity to go for a quick drive. It won't be anything super twisty, windy, anything too intense, but take a look at this Polestar Blue V60. This one coming with the turbocharged inline 6, 345 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. Still respectable numbers here, 10 years later, and still a beautiful little package. I love these wheels. Yes. Such a distinct vehicle. You see one of these on the road and you think, oh man, that person knows their stuff. I'm by no means an expert on these vehicles, but I know when to appreciate a good car. This one in pretty desirable nick, about 9,000 miles on it. I don't know if it was originally owned by Volvo or if they purchased it off of somebody recently. Look at the blue cross stitching, very cool. Alcantara inserts, just enough room for people back here. 5'10", sitting comfortably. At the end of the day, this still is a Volvo station wagon, so it's got to have safety, practicality, functionality. Brings all of that to the table with a dose of character. Something that we're seeing changing here in the new car market. But back in this time, Volvo still had it. Also looks like somebody has gently kissed the front with something. Where are we at here? There we are, all the way over on the side. There it is. This giant 3-liter tucked into this fairly tiny hood. Wouldn't want to be working on that too much. I'm pretty sure I helped my brother do spark plugs on our S60. Or maybe I did it myself. They really weren't too bad if I remember. Being mounted, what was that? Horizontally? Transversely, the technical term. Let's take it for a drive. Are we still running stock tires, Michelin, Pilot Super Sports? Okay, that's what we had in the S60 earlier as well. But pretty thin tires, that's for sure. 245, 50, 35 R20s. What's our date? 22. Okay, so somebody's put fresh rubber on here, or at least relatively fresh. I know in RS60 this metal was starting to flake up and could actually cut you pretty dramatically if you weren't careful. Right away, begging to take off. Car's tight, still has light steering, but definitely the most responsive of the cars I've driven today. And a power meter, quite interesting. You had this infotainment system that was controlled by this little rotary knob. Let's see if I can remember how to work around it. Steering force level is on medium. Okay. gauge cluster was always red like that? That must be customizable, but that's how we're seeing it right now. Themes, there we go. You had performance, eco, right here. Apparently this is economical, and elegance. I think elegance is a bit more befitting the car, but we can go back to sport if that's how, or performance rather, if that's what Volvo wants it to be in. Ah, okay, there we go. That actually looks a little better. I've removed the red somewhat. Got paddle shifters, as well as performance mode that we'll put the car into here before too long. Not too aggressive of a ride for being more of a performance model like this. It's got the Öhlins dampers. Not jarring, although these roads are pretty darn good. Into S mode. Woo! Okay, the exhaust valves have been opened. Holy cow, everything's gotten really aggressive. My braking, aggressive. Oh, okay. See you, V60. Talk about a car begging for a manual. Wow, that power is right there. Those shifts are pretty quick, I will say. A little bit of sponginess at the top of the brake throw, but other than that, pretty grabby and progressive. Hard limiter. Yeah, very cool. It is kind of funny how subtle Volvo's got over the 2000s and 2010s, because we got to drive some of the older Volvo models and they were filled with turbo gauges and eco and power switches. But then you got into the S60R and it was a little more subtle, the blue gauges and the orange seats, but no turbo gauge. And then you get into this and essentially just feels like a V60. They don't even make a very obvious sport mode, despite the fact that it entirely changes the character of the car. You would think simply, oh, it's just putting it into manual shift mode. But no. Entirely different. Nice long gears, and the turbo gives you so much power with that inline six that you don't feel a dead spot anywhere. It just pulls strong right through. It's so ready to downshift that if I'm just cruising along here in S mode. Oh, does that little meter tell me when it's going to downshift? Let me see. I'm going to push my foot through it. Maybe maybe that must be a maximum potential power. That little moving yellow arrow. That's kind of cool. So let's see if I go over here. Yeah, okay, so now at these revs, yeah, wow, that's fun. That's a fun little gauge there. Okay. What a nice mature interior too. It certainly isn't luxury car levels. I mean, a little wood grain would go a long way, but I could see why somebody wouldn't want wood grain in a car like this. Kind of keep it sporty and youthful. Lest you think this is a basic car, you do have a web browser with which you can enter addresses using your T9 dialer. There are silly things that car companies have done throughout the years, and it's funny to look back at them, because I'm sure there are aspects of the current cars we're driving now on a weekly basis that we'll look back on 15 years from now and think, oh, that was pretty silly that they did that, but does this even still work? Let's try. What do we want to go to? It's a short website. Well, NPR. That would be a .org, wouldn't it? Go. The web browser is no longer supported. Well, that's not particularly surprising now, is it? Wonder if Volvo had an official support date for that when they sold the V60. That's fun. That's fun. I'm not disappointed by the V60. It's, it feels very 20 teens, very much so, but still a fun little car, still some great inline six noises, and styling that you just can't beat. Let's hop out and take one last look at that beautiful blue. Blue cross stitching there and there. I like it. I like it. Fun car. Thanks everybody for watching. If you want to see more on the old Volvos, check the link below or watch the rest of this video. I don't know how we're going to package this up, but got some time and some other older Volvo products. This one is cool. I'm glad to have gotten behind the wheel of it. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.